Statement of John Quincy Adams on the Masonic assassination of William Morgan. Freemasonry, corporate Freemasonry, is chargeable with the stealing of a free citizen and the murder of a father and husband. The proof of this subject is perfectly conclusive and is to be found in the reports of the trials of the kidnappers of William Morgan and in the official accounts given by different special attorneys. It is responsible for having baffled inquiry, for having defeated investigation by the removal of witnesses, and for having produced the acquittal of persons notoriously guilty. A little snippet from Secret Societies and Psychological Warfare by Michael A. Hoffman II. Highly recommended book. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I trust that everybody has enjoyed the Thanksgiving holiday, if it is your wont to celebrate there. Today, of course, is the infamous Black Friday, where the psychological warfare operation is to convince you to go out and shop and spend money and turn us into, slaves who follow the Pavlovian dog reaction and do what we're told. So if that is also your wont, then you probably won't see this video until tomorrow or later. While you're out busy as bees flocking your neighborhood stores, buying the deals, trampling over one another and fighting over a DVD player. I wanted to make this video because of a comment that was left on one of my last videos by a YouTube person by the name of Anastasia. And she brought out a very good point, and I think that it's very important for us to focus on it. It's something that I try to bring up regularly, but it cannot be mentioned enough. She made the point, what do we know is real? Do we know that the reactions that we're having are our own actions or our attempts at taking action, or are they simply controlled reactions to what we perceive? In other words, even those of us who think that we are outside of the box, I hate that term, but it is apt in this case, who think that we have a handle on what is really going on. We know we're being fed propaganda. We know we're being fed lies. We know that we're being controlled and manipulated. Maybe we are in the worst danger of all because we believe that. Then when we have an angry reaction to something, maybe we're the ones who are being targeted. So how do we know what's real? And how do we know that what we feel and how we respond to things is accurate and is something that is done with the freedom of our own selves? Well, I guess there's really no way to tell for sure. But one thing that we can do, and one thing that I try to instill to everybody who graces my presence by watching my videos, is the fact that we have to use the reasoning power of our minds. We have to be rational. We are never to jump on any bandwagon. We are never to go ripping out the door at the first sign of something happening. We are never to go chasing off without preparation. We are never to be dragged down a rabbit hole without having prepared for that journey. So, how do we know what's real, and how do we know that what we're thinking is what we're really thinking? And it's not a programmed response to some stimulus that has been put before us. The only thing we can know for sure is, one, we have to dissect everything. And looking at it from the outside, someone who was trying to understand the mentality of people who live this way might think that we're obsessively crazy or, whacked out conspiracy theorists. You know what? I don't see a stigma too much in that anymore. I really don't. There was a time whenever you could be labeled as such, and, you would be ostracized to a certain degree, but that time has passed. I don't mind being called a crazy conspiracy theorist if I examine everything minutely, if I parse it and I try to understand it. It takes me a little while sometimes to comment on an issue that's out in the public, because I don't just immediately jump on it. I need to digest it for a while. I need to break it apart. I need to try to understand what is going on with it. That is what everybody needs to do. You need to take it apart, bit by bit, piece by piece. Understand what is being done. Understand the mentality. Understand the psyop. Understand what the desired response is. Use your mind, use your reasoning power to try to come to terms with that. Try to understand it and get behind it, and that way you're a step ahead of it. And you do not let it control you. You do not let it make you react. Instead, you act based upon your reasoning, your thinking, and your rationality. We can't ever know what's solidly 100% real. Just like we'll never have an answer to some of the greatest mysteries, some of the greatest conspiracies. We're never going to get an answer because the waters have been so muddied that we can't. There's no way to dig out the real truth anymore in a lot of these cases. Yes, we can get pieces, and we should strive to get them. But we're not going to get that satisfying answer that closes all the loopholes. You understand that, right? You need to understand that. Because if you're bogged down in the idea of getting the answers to this or that or this other thing, that's where you're going to stay, swirling down the drain. But I'm talking about what's real and solid for you. What's in your mind? Are you acting or are you reacting? We need to act based on our mentality, our rationality, our free will thought, and our ability to understand and comprehend what it is we're seeing. And we as people who know that we're being played need to be more on guard against this sort of thing than other people, because we think we occupy a pedestal up above, that perhaps we are immune to a certain level of psychological programming or mind control or manipulation or the use of symbology. And I'm telling you, it's not true. That's why you have to look at everything very carefully. What is it that they're trying to get? Where are they trying to go with this latest scheme? It's just like with the body scanners and the enhanced pat-downs at the airport. What is the ultimate goal here? What is it really? What are they trying to achieve? And I think they're just trying to achieve a level of degradation of the people of this country. Breach the personal wall of the individual person. And there is no freedom left for anybody. And I came to that conclusion after looking at it, at the issue, and digesting it and parsing it and going over and over it again. That doesn't mean I'm right, but I think that's where it is. So in every issue, you need to do the same thing. Yes, you might look like an idiot to some people who just blindly go about their business day to day. But don't think you're above the fray, because I guarantee you that there are specific psychological programs, mind control techniques, mind manipulation, symbology, and everything else that is specifically designed for people like you and me. So we're not above this. That's why we need to take stock all the time and examine everything before we do anything. And then we do not react. We act, and we act decisively. So know what's real by going inside yourself. Know what's real by understanding what you're seeing. And know what's real by dissecting it all and trying to get to the truth behind it as best you can. Those are some words for wisdom for all of us.